Did John Cornyn do something where he strategically set up defaults so that he could apply liens to people in other public office positions and have them perform in order to serve his ends? Did he ever actually relinquish, or rather allow for a passing on of the role of Attorney General once he left the office of the Attorney General? And so this is something that I contend has been happening. For instance, I do not believe that Hillary Clinton relinquished the office of First Lady when she left, and that there is some sort of process whereby one formally passes on whatever their office is on into or onto the person who comes next. And if they don't do that, then it is as if they are sitting on it. They're squatting on the office. So when the next first lady comes in, or when the next person who's supposed to hold that office comes in, it becomes a power struggle, especially if that person has another public office. And I've contended for some time that a lot of the concerns that I've been having with Senator Cruz is because he's the junior to Senator Cornyn. And that Cornyn set up some sort of process whereby he leans on Cruz. And it's horrible. That what the stuff that's in Cruz's background is really, really horrible. But if you follow it, especially if it's using you as the cuckold, ultimately what you see over and over again is it ends up in intel. Right? Which means I don't think Cornyn, insofar as at least as of early this year, was reflected as having different committee assignments. I don't think he left intel. Did he? Which begs the question of, did Greg Abbott ever get to fully assume the duties of Attorney General himself? And you guys in Texas, you know, and I'm talking to you guys, you got this process and this problem where you just get too arrogant. And you get way into trying to wager on everybody else's life as if it's nothing more than an endless supply of poker chips. And you just grab from and grab from, and if you don't kill them off or get them to cede and run away after you've stripped them down, well, you just keep trying to find a way to get away with it. And, you know, I don't really have much sympathy for any of you, because at some point, if you're the junior getting leaned on by a senior at that level, there's no excuse. Because that's been going on for too long, right? But then we got the other problem, especially with you so-called attorneys, which is the women that are forced to represent ourselves pro se. And usually it is against some force or factor. And in some cases, actually against what would be the Solicitor General. Because the Attorney General will not get off his ass and realize what he was constitutionally bound to do. You make her pro se. You ride her around like you're a pony. Her entire time trying to get some restitution, just even trying to get a place indoors to sleep, or trying to keep somebody from hooking up stuff on her kids that makes them sick. And you just won't do it. You can write all kinds of opinions that hook up nice schemes with that fancy case law flip you do. I have yet to see anybody in the state of Texas that claimed they were an attorney general advance a cause that actually supported the safety of women and children. Even when you're advocating for some sort of safety matter, you're just trying to figure out how to cap the liability. That's what I just fucking saw again. Capping the liability for who? I mean, for whatever reason, you haven't gotten it through your head that you just didn't have the right to keep consolidating every other fucking possibility so many people could have into covering up for whatever you intentionally trashed while you were in office, hoping you could just wave it off somewhere else in a fancy little game that a whole bunch of people were going to have no choice but to play with you. I'm not playing around. I apologize. I am not as helpless, hapless a victimized woman as would probably make it look a lot better for you if I were. It would be a lot easier in this power struggle if I was nice and sweet and, oh, well, ma'am, I mean, Oh my goodness. You know what you've been doing with your marketing for the last 4 years instead of actually engaging in a professional role as a representative at whatever level you expect to get your pension benefits at. But there were women, and I knew those women. And I watched what you did, and you know, a couple years down the road, well, you just keep going and going and going. And now you got a whole bunch of women dancing through a bunch of hoops that boys like you set up and keep trying to get us to jump through while you keep making some excuse about how, well, it's mine. It's mine. It was not yours. It was not yours. And if you took it from me, or you took it from those women, and you blew it, and now you owe us what you should have already invested in the people, so when we needed you to do your job, you did it, that's not my fault. We ain't in school. I'm not your teacher. You're not mine. You claim to be an officer of the public trust. You claim to be in public office duly elected. You're not acting anything like that. This is completely unacceptable. I cannot believe. Did you expect that because you did not get away with what you set up at 512, you were going to move that up the river? I don't fucking think so.